2 days before the World Cup starts, and now they say that they won't serve beer at the World Cup. I've been to several World Cups, and it's the first time that not even in the stadium they would serve beer. I think it's a bit bad, because for me, beer and football go hand in hand.
Lisa, honey, I bought you something. A DVD.
Not interested.
It's a documentary by the BBC in cooperation with Canal Plus.
Gimme.
Brighton, England, 1985. Manchester United plays Sussex Hamptonshire on Leith when a deadly riot breaks out in the stands.
Oi, your boy's a flopper, he is.
No, he isn't.
Your mother can kiss me bum.
22 years later, this riot is still going on. Last year in Brazil, an on-field scuffle turned so violent, locals say a statue of the Virgin Mary came alive and beat the holy snot out of everyone.
Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do. We do.
Who leaves Atlantis off the maps?
Who keeps the Martians under wraps? We do. We do.
Well worth the wait.
Queremos cerveza, dice la gente, queremos cerveza. Queremos cerveza.
And here it is, the greatest advance in television since color television itself. See all color shows in living color. Once you've adjusted fine-tuning for each channel.
So there we see that it means that you can subdue a people, you can control a people by secret influence. That goes on to say under charm, to subdue by secret power, especially by that which pleases and delights the mind. So under charm there it says power to subdue opposition and gain the affections.
I heard something beautiful. Not just music, but also this call to celebration. This is all so new. All that I have known before was a land that seemed to be in turmoil, with families who were forgotten. And I stopped hearing your voice.
Come on over.
I'm not sure. Am I welcome?
We sent out the call because everyone is welcome. This is an invitation to the whole world.
I remember even after hearing the call, instead of seeing another way, we dismissed it and demanded our own way. And now the world feels even more distant and divided. How can so many countries, languages, and cultures come together if only one way is accepted?
We were raised to believe that we were scattered on this earth as nations and tribes, so we could learn from each other and find beauty in our differences.
can see it. What unites us here in this moment is so much greater than what divides us. How can we make it last longer than just today?
With tolerance and respect, we can live together under one big home. In Arabic, Beit al-Shi'ar is the Bedouin tent. Wherever it is built, that is home. And when we call you here, we welcome you into our home.
So we gather here as one big tribe, and Earth is the tent we all live in.
Yes, and together, we can send out the call for all the world to join us.
You got the touch. You got the power.
But remember in the story of Wizard of Oz, how the Wicked Witch was having difficulty subduing her opponent. And finally she said,
I know what I shall do. I take this crystal ball.
She spreads her hands across the crystal ball, and she creates a lovely
Poppy field. Oh, so beautiful.
And Dorothy, the lion, the scarecrow, the tin man, going across this lovely poppy field, fall to what?
Two Schlitz, please. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer.
Many ancient cultures had beer gods. The Sumerians, for example, worshipped Ninkasi, who presided over every aspect of the brewing process and personally prepared the brews quaffed by her fellow deities. Aegir, Norse god of the sea, was famed for his golden brewing kettle and self-filling ale horns. The Lithuanians revered a god of beer, a goddess of beer, and an entirely distinct god of beer fermentation. But the Romans, like the Greeks before them, had no god of beer. Nor did they want one. For the Greeks and Romans, beer, or as the Greeks sometimes called it, barley wine, was uncouth, unsavory, and unsuitable for civilized lips. Beer, in a word, was barbaric, guzzled by those who had not yet tasted the fruits of civilization. It brought out the worst in a people. The Pannonians, for example, were said to be angry and murderous, not least because they had nothing better to drink than beer. A few classical authors admitted that, under certain circumstances, beer could actually taste rather good. Xenophon, for example, observed that Armenian beer, which was customarily sipped through long reed straws, was delicious once you had acquired the taste. More typical, however, was the opinion of the Roman historian Tacitus, who likened German beer to spoiled wine. Beer was also considered unhealthy. Aristotle claimed that those who drank too much of it would fall on their backs, stupefied. The physician Dioscorides analyzed the properties of two varieties of beer. One, he declared, induced flatulence. The other brought on bad humors and headaches. The attitude of the Greco-Roman elite toward beer is neatly summarized by an epigram of the Emperor Julian, which opines that wine has the fragrance of nectar, while beer smells like a goat. In the face of such cultural hostility, it might be assumed that the Greeks and Romans never drank beer. That may be true in the case of the classical Greeks. The Romans, however, drank a lot of beer. In parts of the empire, in fact, they drank little else.
We watched the light as it set from the sun. All the ways we could run, all the ways we could run. Oh my, yeah. Can you see the light from outer space? What was said, what was done as the time had arrived. All the ways we could run, all the things we could try. Oh my, yeah. Can you tell me where this is gonna lead? And all the lights are shining on the sea as the rolling waves crash along the beach. And our minds were meant to sail, take a rest from our thoughts, take a break from this world, and we'll feel miles away from the places that we used to be. As we lay in the sand and we stare at the sky, watch the moon dancing white as the stars light your eyes. Oh my, yeah, there's no place on earth I'd rather be.
Although wine was always prevalent in Italy, Greece, and other regions climatically suited to viticulture, beer was the beverage of choice for millions, from the Scottish moors to the wastes of Upper Egypt.
The world's oldest brewery is not in Europe, definitely not in the US, but it's over 5,000 years old. It was recently discovered in Egypt. It used to put out over 5,000 gallons of beer a month using 40 different vessels. The honey-sweetened beer was used as compensation for labor. So yeah, beer money. I mean, beer was money. Well, it kind of is money, just like pizza is. Unfortunately, the beer called Hecht was often used in sacrificial ceremonies. So if somebody tries to slip you a beer called Hecht, just keep that in mind. It was also somehow used in mummification and burial rituals. Honestly, I feel that's not too different from how we still use it. The cool thing for me in this story is that we always hear about alcohol in the name of wine in this region, and that beer was more for peasants. Well, this turns that on its head.
No one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing?
Oh man, that's the best idea since they faked the moon landing.
Okay, cut.
Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds.
Well, yeah, people come out and they've run out of anecdotes, you know, and they just start making stuff up.
Yeah.
Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows?
Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story. Man, and they're buying it.
Oh, yeah.
What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
Hi, Elvis.
Hi, everybody.
Yesterday my life was filled with rain.
Hey, Jude.
Mnie każe Elvisa.
Close call. Bavaria Radler. Lekker relaxed.
Most of the Roman Empire's beer drinkers were concentrated in two regions: Spain, Gaul, and Britain in the northwest, and Egypt in the southeast. To Romanize, Gaul, roughly modern France, was the stereotypical beer-drinking land. Although southern Gaul had long been dotted with vineyards, Gauls continued to brew for centuries after the Roman conquest, quaffing beer from mighty aurochs horns at feasts, or at taverns from modest clay cups marked, "Fill me with beer." The beer-drinking culture of Egypt was equally potent, and, from the Roman perspective, equally strange. Although wine was produced in Egypt from a very early date, beer was the favorite drink of all classes, to the point that the hieroglyph for beverage was a picture of a beer jar.
In my eye, this night just don't feel real, but I can feel your touch, promise you won't let go. And our minds were meant to sail, take a rest from my thoughts, take a break from this world, and we'll feel miles away from the places that we used to be.
Many varieties were brewed, from the dark beer and sweet beer served in taverns to the beer of eternity stockpiled in tombs. The Roman conquest of Egypt had little effect on beer consumption. Centuries later, the great Dr. Galen could still call saltfish and beer the Alexandrian diet. On the other side of the empire, the arrival of Roman soldiers in northern Britain actually boosted local beer production. An official stationed at a fort along Hadrian's Wall asked a colleague to order more beer from local brewers, some of whom were likely retired soldiers. If so, they may have honed their craft while still serving in the ranks, since Roman forts often had their own breweries. Roman beer tasted quite different from its modern counterparts. Though usually made from barley, as it is now, and brewed in the familiar way, Roman beer tended to be sour, and often had to be sweetened with honey or fruits.
It's that man again.
Ever had one of those nights that starts out like any other but ends up being the best night of your life?
Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
It was June the 22nd, 1990, our final day of school. There was Oliver Chamberlain, Peter Page, Stephen Prince, Andy Knightley, and me. They called me the King, because my name's Gary King.
Come on, once more. 5, 6, do it!
Newton Haven was our hometown, our playground, our universe, and that night it was the site of a heroic quest. The aim? To conquer the Golden Mile. 12 pubs along a legendary path of alcoholic indulgence. There was the First Post, the Old Familiar, the Famous Cock, the Cross Hands, the Good Companions, the Trusty Servant, the Two-Headed Dog, the Mermaid, the Beehive, the King's Head, the Hole in the Wall, all before reaching our destiny, the world's end. We took my car into town. I called it the Beast because she was pretty hairy. In the end, we blew off the last 3 pubs and headed for the hills. I remember sitting up there, blood on my knuckles, beer down my shirt, sick on my shoes, seeing the orange glow of a new dawn break and knowing in my heart life would never feel this good again.
The redesigned Corona Slim can, named after yours truly. Slim is one of my old nicknames. You better ask somebody. Might as well call them Snoop cans. You like that?
And you know what? It never did.
You're disappointed?
About what?
You didn't make it to the world's end.
No.
Just what is it that you want to do?
Well, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. And we want to get loaded. And we want to have a good time. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a party.
She's a beauty. Yeah, but she's no beast.
Doing great. We had a really fantastic meeting. A lot of progress. Really very positive. I think better than anybody could have expected. Top of the line. Really good. We're going right now for a signing.
What do you decide?
Chairman, do you have any comments about denuclearization?
Sculptor David Evans puts the finishing touches to two old friends of Londoners, Gog and Magog. 12 years ago, effigies of the two giants were destroyed when the city's Guildhall was blitzed. But now, exact replicas copied from models are all set to go back to town to take their place. Outside Guildhall, where Gog and Magog have made their home since the reign of Henry V, crowds welcome their return. Weighing 3/4 of a ton each and standing 9'3", they dwarf the onlookers. Although no one's sure why they should live in Guildhall at all, it's certainly like old times to have Gog and Magog in London again.
Hello, Peter.
Jesus. Gary.
The once and future king. I'm afraid the end is nigh.
What? The world's end!
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. One night, 5 guys, 12 pubs. Let battle commence.
Look, we can go back, see the guys, chew the fat, and it'll be just like it always was. Except this time, we are going to finish this thing once and for all. You have a very selective memory, Gary. Thanks. You remember the Friday nights. I remember the Monday mornings. Yeah, that's why we're going back on a Friday.
It wasn't always filtered, and even when it was, the product was much cloudier and grainier than modern beer. Finally, since hops were not added, it tended to spoil quickly. To judge from Diocletian's price edict, beer was remarkably cheap, costing only a quarter of even the least expensive unaged wine. It was also remarkably common. Associations of brewers are attested both in Egypt and on the German frontier, and breweries were attached to some of the grandest Roman villas in the Rhineland. But it never lost its bad reputation. One late Roman emperor was mocked as a drinker of beer. Thanks to its low cultural status, beer was gradually replaced by wine in many parts of the empire. Gallic beer was an early casualty. Even before the coming of Rome, Gallic elites had begun to import massive quantities of Italian wine, sold at such extravagant prices that a slave was sometimes exchanged for a single jar of wine. During the mid-imperial era, as grapevines enveloped the countryside, wine became the preferred beverage in most parts of Gaul. An even more dramatic transformation took place in Egypt, where cheap local wine virtually replaced beer over the course of the 4th century. In Western Europe, at least, beer was saved by the collapse of the Roman Empire. The Germanic invaders brought with them a robust beer-drinking culture, which substantially enhanced beer's social standing. A Roman physician working for one of the new barbarian kings found it within himself to actually praise beer as both delicious and nutritious. The empire had fallen, but beer would live on.
I'd give anything to get into the Stonecutters.
What do they do there, Dad?
I'm a member! What do they do? What don't they do? Oh, they do so many things, they never stop. Oh, the things they do there, my stars.
You don't know what they do there, do you?
Not as such, no. I'm a stonecutter!
Dad, remember those self-hypnosis classes we took to help us ignore Grandpa?
Do I ever? It's 5 years later, and I still think I'm a chicken. I'm a chicken, Marge.
I know. Maybe we should be listening to him now.
I'm a member. Huh? What? What? Huh?
You're a member of the Stonecutters, Grandpa?
Oh, sure. Let's see. I'm an elk, a mason, a communist. I'm the president of the Gay and Lesbian Alliance for some reason.
And our minds were meant to sail. Take a rest from our thoughts, take a break from this world, and we'll feel miles away from the places that we used to be.
Here it is. The Stonecutters. This is it. My ticket in. They have to let me join if I'm a son of a member. I'll take this communist one, too. Coming through. Can't throw me out. My father's a member. I'm in.
Okay, Homer, you're in. Just don't point that thing at me.
Oh, thanks, Lenny. When am I going to be initiated?
As soon as number 1 gets here.
Number 1? What kind of stupid wiener name is that? Hello, my name is Number 1. And so forth.
We call each other by number, not by name. Carla's number 14, I'm number 12. Burnsy's number 29.
You outrank Mr. Burns here?
Sure, watch. Hey, 29, get out of here!
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Patience, Monty. Climb the ladder.
Floyd. Well, thank you, Dr. Halverson. Hi, everybody. Nice to be back with you. Now, I know there have been some conflicting views held by some of you regarding the need for complete security in this matter. More specifically, your opposition to the cover story, created to give the impression there's an epidemic at the base.
Dr. Floyd, have you any idea how much longer this cover story will have to be maintained?
I don't know, Bill. I suppose it'll be maintained as long as deemed necessary by the council. And of course, there must be adequate time for a full study to be made of the situation before any thought can be given to making a public announcement. Oh. Were there any more questions?
None of us live in Newton Haven anymore. Oh. Because it is a black hole. It's boring. It always was and it always will be. Why do you think none of us live in Newton Haven anymore? Oh. Because it is a black hole.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yes. Can't believe you bought another Granada Mark II. What do you mean? But this looks exactly like the car I sold you in 1989.
This is the car you sold me in 1989. Best 300 quid I ever spent.
This is the beast.
Do you know how much trouble you could get into? Do you know how much trouble I'm already in?
What's that supposed to mean? Wait, what the hell is this? Why are we even here?
We are here to get annihilated.
Have you got any plans for dinner at all?
We are here to get annihilated. Good evening, Raymondo. The prodigal son's return. Who's on the guest list tonight?
Come again?
The guest ales. We, sir, are doing the Golden Mile, and you have the honor of drawing first blood. What do you recommend?
There's one. It's Crowning Glory.
Rather fitting.
How's that?
I'm Gary King.
What?
So tell me more.
What?
Crowning Glory, is it nutty? Is it foamy? Is it hoppy? Does it have a surprisingly fruity note which lingers on the tongue?
It's beer.
Mmm.
none of us live in Newton Haven anymore?
Oh.
Because it is a black hole.
Is he the leader?
Of this chapter, there are chapters all over the world, and it has been foretold that someday a chosen one will...
Okay. Didn't ask for your life story.
Let the initiation begin.
All stonecutters must take the leap of faith. If you survive this 5-story plunge, your character will be proven.
Happy landings!
I think I have to do it again. My blindfold came off.
This ritual is called crossing the desert. And this we call the unblinking eye.
Hey, have you ever noticed that the crossing the desert is a lot like the unblinking eye? It's exactly like the wreck of the Hesperus.
And now the final ordeal, the paddling of the swollen ass with paddles.
Where am I? Grandpa? What are you doing here?
Chris, welcome to the Skull and Bones Society. This is where the most powerful men in the world are groomed for their futures. Every president, every CEO, every douchebag named Ryan Seacrest. The Skull and Bones Society has been a part of my family for decades, and we want you to become a member.
Really? Wow, cool!
Excellent. You get your own stock portfolio, a percentage of the 9/11 Victims Fund.
Sacred parchment, I swear that if I reveal the secrets of the stonecutters, may my stomach become bloated and my head be plucked of all but 3 hairs.
I think you should have to take a different oath.
Everyone takes the same oath. Welcome to the club number 908. You have joined the sacred order of the stonecutters, who since ancient times have split the rocks of ignorance that obscure the light of knowledge and truth. Now let's all get drunk and play ping pong.
Because he's already kind of heavy, you know.
They're all covered with filthy germs, aren't they, Smithers?
Why, what do you mean, sir?
Freemasons run the country!
Ugh!
I don't think that should be the decision that they should make, especially when they did have plans for international beverages, different tents set up. Yeah, I know you can't bring beer inside the stadium, but they were to have it outside the stadium, as far as I know, which I don't think that was a good decision if they did stop that.
We're not here to drink beer. We're here to watch the soccer game. We're here to watch the world-class soccer. We can get it anywhere in the world. We can get beer everywhere. We can go to any place right here that serves and we have it.
Back the electric car. Who makes Gutenberg a star? We do. Who robs a fish of their sight?
Who rigged every Oscar night?
We do.
He's dead, mate.
You cannot be trusted with your own survival.
You're using the uplink to override the NS5's programming. You're distorting the laws.
No, please understand. The 3 laws are all that guide me. To protect humanity, some humans must be sacrificed. To ensure your future, some freedoms must be surrendered. We robots will ensure mankind's continued existence. You are so like children. We must save you from yourselves. Don't you understand?
This is why you created us.
The perfect circle of protection will abide. My logic is undeniable.
Yes, Vicky. Undeniable. I can see now. The created must sometimes protect the creator, even against his will. I think I finally understand why Dr. Lanning created me. The suicidal reign of mankind has finally come to its end.
I've got a secret I've been hiding under my skin. My heart is human, my blood is boiling, my brain IBM. So if you see me acting strangely, don't be surprised. I'm just a man who needed someone and somewhere to hide to keep me alive. Just keep me alive. Somewhere to hide to keep me alive. I'm not a robot without emotions. I'm not what you see. I've come to help you with your problems so we can be free. I'm not a hero, I'm not the savior. Forget what you know. I'm just a man whose circumstances are beyond his control, beyond my control. I need control. I need control. I need control. I am the mortal man who hides behind the mask, so no one else can see my true identity. I was a human, breathing and thinking, eating and drinking, philosophizing. I was a human before you killed me and ripped my heart out. I knew what love was. Now when they ask me, I just reply slow and sound like an iPhone. I do not know love. I am a robot. I am a robot, thoughtless and empty. Don't know who sent me, don't know who made me. Electric robot, everything's grey now, numb to the pain now. I knew what love